Kind of interesting to see Chet say, if we lose this, it's going to look bad on me. Again, this is a coach that joined the team less than a week ago.
Yeah, I think he has a bit of a free pass. It's going to look worse on the 5 guys on the server, more than anything else. But so I think he's correct in that regard. Maybe he's already completely assimilated to to the rest of the team. It's just one big group, right? But yeah, no, I think he gets a free pass for that. Like you said, it's been such a short amount of time that they have quite a few issues that they need to work out, but there's not enough time to do so in before the tournament gets going, and that's just life sometimes. But it seems like they have a pretty set plan for what they want to do. If they were to go out today, they're going to take advantage of the practice that they'll have, actually being able to practice versus European teams for quite a few more days, etc., before they go on about to their next location. So I think that's a nice way of going about it. Again, they realize that they're not the greatest team on earth, and probably know that they've overperformed in that sense from an online point of view. So it's going to be a bit different kind of beast when they get to offline tournaments.
Well, we can start talking about VG, but let's at least go into a quick interview with one of the players before we do so.
What is up, everybody? I'm here with Z8Z, the coach for VG.Flash. Firstly, are you feeling good?
不是很好，今天有点，今天发挥的不是很好，没办法。
You've said that you don't feel good because of your previous performances, but are you letting that affect you, coaching the guys, and are the guys not in the spirits they should be to play?
那倒没有，只是今天我感觉我们整队都被人节奏上被人一直抓住了，然后我们一直被人牵着鼻子走，所以很沮丧。
And after the draw, we found out you guys, VG, would be going up against NRG. Do you think they are a good opponent for you?
他们是一个很强的对手，我觉得，尤其是他们狙击手 CERQ， 我觉得非常的厉害，所以明天也是一场硬仗，我们希望我们能好好的对待，好好的应战吧。
You talk about their sniper being good. How, or do you have any plan at all to counteract him?
可能还是绕着他来打吧，尽量打另外一边为主，让他自己玩嘛。
All right, Z8Z, final question then. If you lose this, you're out of the tournament. Firstly, are you satisfied so far? And if you went out, what would that mean?
我当然是希望能赢啊，对吧？如果输了，我其实也没什么关系吧，也不是说没什么关系，就是这是我们这个队第一次这个阵容第一次出国打比赛，就等于是吸收经验吧。以后的比赛，我希望会发挥得更好。
I think that's a great point to finish on, but please do go ahead and address all your fans at home.
希望我们的粉丝继续支持我们吧，我们明天会加油的，谢谢。
Z8Z, thank you very much and best of luck against NRG.
Okay.
Each year just going to be employing the strategy of spot Cirque and go to the other bomb site, which I don't really blame them
It's
for.
a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, North probably should have done that on Overpass yesterday as well. It's like, if you see Fugly or Stark, probably not move in that direction.
Don't go A, basically.
Yeah, stick to B. But yeah, no, one of the issues really that VG are going to run into is actually Stark, because we've talked about how op battles can be very influential. I mean, that's a given in a game like Counter-Strike, but the issue that VG run into is the fact that they don't necessarily have a fully dedicated opera on their side. They're more like Liquid in that sense, right? So you have an old rifler turned into somewhat of a dedicated opera, but not really, right? So he's still playing, I guess, in any other team he would have been a secondary, and that's Summer we're talking about, also known as Fancy, who picks that up most of the time for VG. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that none of them are on the level of Zerk, but I guess the one thing that makes up for it is that they do have the opportunity to play with a lot of pace and very high mobility because they utilize so many rifles, and they also have extremely good riflers in that side. I mean, yesterday, sure, they didn't get too many rounds versus Na'Vi, but you had Freeman kind of going toe-to-toe with Simple for the better part of that game on the first map. And then we've also seen pretty much everyone from VG in the game versus SK just rack up 4Ks. Summer did it quite a few times, Attacker as well. Everyone was chipping in and proving their worth, I guess, showing that they are actually worth having in that lineup. There's no imminent need to make any changes or something post this event. I also like the approach again from Z8C, the coach of Vici, the fact that this is the first time they're going to an international event with Freeman in the lineup. So, and obviously after the joint fusion of Vici and Flash, that they're just going to use this as a learning experience. They get so much information. They learn so much from playing versus these top teams that's pretty much the main gain from attending a tournament like this. And they're going to make the most out of it and then come back stronger next time. And I think that's a gradual progress that everyone needs to go through. I mean, it happened to the Brazilians as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time Kaboom went to international tournaments, they kind of got smashed out of servers. But, fast forward a year, all of a sudden they're winning majors.
I mean, yeah, and another example closer to home would be Tyloo, right? Again, bit of a different roster to their original team. Actually, very different roster, but
still
of course,
have Mo there.
yeah, right. You got a couple. We look to the first time Tyloo started to come to European events, like touching DreamHacks and some early StarSeries, and even MVP. And those are great examples of teams from the Asian region that started off. Yeah, they were getting a couple of upset wins, but by and large they struggled. And now, we got Tyloo dominating their way through this event. They started off by defeating Na'Vi in the first round. A team that VG just lost to yesterday. So
I think a lot of people hold Na'Vi as just tournament favorites going into this, right?
Yeah.
For Tyloo to just start off the entire
with a 2-0?
Yeah, it's just like, why not?
It definitely helps, right? I'm kind of excited by this game because I feel like we could have VG surprise us. Of course, coming into this game, I think it's fair to say they're underdogs, but I wouldn't say by like some massive margin or anything. One thing that NRG need to be very careful is that they try and play how Na'Vi did in the sense that, don't give VG the room to play their own game. We already know these teams have a lot of firepower, both of them, in fact, both rosters. Yeah. But NRG, if they play this aggressive, suffocating style of CS that we saw from the CIS team just yesterday, especially Mirage, which is the first map, we could see VG struggle. I mean, as the coach just said, they weren't able to play their own game. They weren't able to set up for that. So when you have a team just playing so annoying in that sense and just out-aiming you, there's not a lot you can do. And NRG already showing that, at least with some of their games before on Overpass especially, as well as Cirque, of course, which was mentioned in the interview. He is a very scary factor.
Oh, it definitely is. And I'm going to be really curious to see how this Mirage game pans out. But obviously, this was one of the maps that Vici played against versus Na'Vi. Obviously, they didn't get a W, but they still feel confident in the match or in the map that they're going to be allowed to, I guess, do what they've planned. They said that was the big issue versus Na'Vi, so maybe we're going to see a big change up from that today. But also the fact that when we saw Energy play Mirage versus North, they really didn't bring anything at all to the table. We talked about how maybe, with the spawn rotations that were in, Cirque could have gotten the bad end of the short end of the stick with him having to constantly have a bad spawn towards mid that forced Fugly to get into new rotations. But even with that, as a bit of a, asterisk to what potentially could have gone wrong for their CT sides, they didn't really do all that much. They made lots of error. The B bomb side kept getting abused. They were never able to actually retake mid control, especially well versus North. So if that's like a recurring issue for them versus good teams, then they're gonna struggle. Like that's just the bane of it. That's just the end all be all on a map like Mirage, where map control is pretty significant.
I mean, even when you say, Cirque wasn't getting the right spawns, he wasn't getting those fast mid plays, but at the end of the day, you can't just rely on that. It can't be your only game plan.
Exactly.
Like if you're leaving it down to RNG to win a game,
then you might as well play Fortnite.
Exactly. Oh no, what are you talking about? First bullet accuracy before Counter-Strike. It was actually depressing, but we are into this game. Thank you for sticking with us, and good morning to everyone. Of course, I assume it is the morning, or at least for where we are. It certainly is here in Kiev, Ukraine, and we are jumping in to the first game of the day, at least on the B stream. Vici up against NRG for elimination on the line. The loser of this best of 3 is going home with nothing, and although they'll get some valuable practice here in Europe, which I'm sure both teams will take massive advantage of course, these are both non-European teams, in a region with the best teams in the world. It'd still be nice to pick up a win here at the very least.
You get better practice if you could stay in the tournament longer, right? Because then you play actual tournament games.
Better than scrims. And you can look over the demos again, like not only will teams be trying harder, at least in actual official matches rather than scrims, but you're probably going to get some better games as well. We've already seen these teams face off against some pretty tough opponents so far.
Definitely. So there's something to be said, like, not necessarily all teams in practice and whatnot actually run everything they want to do in a tournament, right? Like, something needs to be a bit of a mystery.
Strats.
Yeah, exactly. Saving stretch for the major. It's a classic.
Yep.
But there is definitely some truth to it. But both these teams could obviously have. It would be very big for either team, obviously, to get a win. NRG to kind of showcase that no, we're actually not just completely terrible offline compared to what we are online. And for VG, it would be a massive step in the right direction, considering they have always kind of been the team that gets pummeled out of these tournaments, even with the old lineups. So for them being able to take a big best of 3, that would be a really cool little notch in their belts.
Well, we are into the pistol, and NRG on the T side setting up some utility towards B. It's a faster play. Freeman, I like the play. He just falls back out of the market. He's not going to commit to the duel in the B site. Instead, he wants to set up for the retake, but they're going to get aggressive. Ethan diving through goes down. Double kill coming in through for VG. They have a 2-man advantage. With the bomb plant in, do they think it's A?
They think it's A.
Oh my god.
Buddy.
Not sure how that happens when they spotted a B rush and got 2 kills, but hey.
Well, it happens. They do still have a defuse kit as well, but that's obviously going to buy a lot of extra time for energy, which is definitely needed. Lovey is actually trading back and forth. It's going to go down to a 1v3 Breeze. He's going to have a rough time. Smoke's down already and attackers in position. So yeah, even with a bit of a fumble from Vici there, faking out the cells. I'm really curious as to who made that call, actually. If that was Summer.
Yeah, they seemed so convinced by it.
Yeah,
it wasn't
the
even
entire
like,
team.
It wasn't even like, oh yeah, I'll just check our back. I'll make sure there's no one coming from our
there's
behind.
a
It was like,
5-man
guys,
rotation.
5-man rotate. We killed 2 B players. It's got to be A. Not sure what happened there. Yeah. And there wasn't even a lurk or anything. If there was a lurk and you got a bomb plant, it'd be like, okay, yeah, I can justify checking it. But weird one. Either way, it won't matter that much. VG still win the round.
Yeah.
So rifles coming through. They've actually got 4 of them, in fact. They're playing very safe. Of course, the bomb plant did go down, so we're having that 3rd round buy. And the rifles in this round are good for 2 reasons. One, if NRG have actually gone for some kind of force in the 2nd round after a plant, VG are going to be better equipped to deal with it. But also, 2, they don't need to upgrade their weapons moving forward because, of course, NRG are buying up in that 3rd round.
Exactly. It's a big thing as well. Also, it's pretty nice to have a rifle when pretty much a full eco comes running out into mid. It's never a bad feeling. And Daps is moving over towards A. He's going to run into the hands of Summer. Needing some adjustment. Okay. Good that didn't happen on the first buy round, to put it that way. So
yeah,
kind of allows himself to shake it off.
Get the kinks out. You know,
exactly.
we're only in round 2 of the day.
Gone. All fine. He's going to be, just mowing people down now from this point on.
Well, attacker with 4 kills there, but of course anti-eco. Now things get interesting as we have rifles in for NRG. Still, of course, no deaths for VG, so same by in effect, I guess. And a lot of utility here for the CT side. That's something that NRG are lacking. They got that bomb plant into the 1st round, but we saw not a heavy investment, but P250s coming into the 2nd. And if you don't get a kill and pay off that P250, I mean, this is what happens. You have 2 smokes across your entire team for an entire full buy round. Push through the smoke. Summer close. He's going to at least work out with 1. Zokin can only get damaged. Luckily enough, attacker looking for another 4K, but it won't work out. Lovey instead steals it. And yeah, that's a bit of a fast shutdown.
It definitely is. But it looked like it was gradually getting better and better for NRG. They were getting 1-for-1 trades. They were getting closer and closer to the site, and then Lovey shows up with a bit of a godsend of a nade and following it up with 2 kills on that FAMAS spray. So just in the matter of seconds, that's just the really quick rotation. And obviously the initial setup from VG panning out really well for them. So that's a bit of an unfortunate situation for NRG, but that's the kind of risk you run when you go immediately towards the bomb site instead of necessarily grabbing map control and actually spreading the CTs out.
Rounds in, but I still want to ask you, do you have like an official, what's your prediction? Are you calling 2-0 for NRG? Are you calling 2-1? What do you think?
I went with energy for my overall prediction, so I can't bail on that, even though it's not looking too pretty right now. But I could see this going to a 3-mapper.
Yeah.
Because I definitely, I haven't seen enough of Vici, in all honesty, to say that they're going to be able to grab overpass easily versus energy, especially with how we've seen energy play really poorly, but we also have seen them play really well on overpass versus north. So take that for what it is. I do think a 3rd map is definitely in the cards, especially if Vici's gonna keep this up as well. And I'm not sure. Obviously, we were busy doing other games as Navi were playing versus Vici, so we didn't get to see whether or not they started on the CT side, T side, and everything. And when Vici were talking about how they weren't able to actually kind of control the pace of the game or get into their own groove with things, if that's because they started on the T side or CT side, we don't really know. But they seem to be off to a great start now.
On the CT side, VG poised to fight back. A man in the window, net control and short under their grasp, but the smoke down in window is really going to cut off one of these 3 positions here for this CT side. NRG slowing the pace down. They've got a default established, so at any point they can split towards a B site through apartments or through Palace. So a lot of options open here for the North Americans. But as the smoke fades in mid, now we see, do VG challenge? Do they go back in? It's a no, because NRG don't allow them to. Again, re-smoking down. Good bit of utility usage there, but NRG need to make a move. They need to find somewhere to commit, or at least look for this first kill.
They're going to smoke off top of connector as well, so looking like it might be a bit of a B split with Ethan as a lurk in Palace. Problem is they don't really have anyone forward in absence of, no, in B absence right now. Actually, the bomb's going to rotate over towards Ace. This is going to be an Ace split, but Attacker does a great job finding Stark initially. Gets traded up by Breezy, but still equal numbers, even though Zoking has gone down to 10 HP. But now, time is starting to run down, so NRG are pretty much committed to this A bomb side because the rotation is not going to be over towards B in time.
Oh, VG, they've already spotted it. The flank can come out from Breezy, so he does at least kill the player up in the window, but it's somewhere on the site that can do all the damage alone. 2 frags already. The 3rd peak comes through, but Daps is going to win the duel, shutting them down on the A site. The bomb plant could just come through with a few seconds remaining, leaving Freeman left to clutch, and Daps trying to round up with a 3K. Repositioning, and he does find this shot. NRG with the first round on the board, and although there are severe casualties, at least they've kicked it off on the T side. The thing is, again, this money is going to be a bit of a problem. We have to see drops over. The AWP does come through very early, just trying to instill that fear into VG.
Yeah, they're lucky on their they're on the T side in that sense, but even then, you know, you can see not the greatest of weaponry mixed with utility, at least on the side of Energy. And well, for VG, they do have some weaknesses to their buy as well. Not as many Molotovs as you would have liked, and a FAMAS on Summer. Actually, I thought VG were looking really good there. Summer in a really exposed position, able to get the first pick on Palace, but then overextends behind the default box as he wants to grab the guy playing around jungle.
And then he gets killed from ramp as well, very
Exactly.
exposed. Like no information on Daps' position, even though he'd already gone and got kills before.
Exactly, and that was the big issue. So a bit of an overcommitment from VG. They definitely could have closed that round out. But solid clutch by Daps there. Not the player you expect to do so. And Summer with the aggression through A-Apps is going to get caught by Cirque, who's pitched a tent in T-spawn. So that's map control kind of lost, but I kind of like this from Vici as well. They're sending out another player on a bit of a mission here. It's going to be Zoking up in A-Apps, and that allows them for them to not necessarily have to force the rotation over towards A. They can play for a retake here still, and they're doubling up on the B bomb site.
However, retaking with a man disadvantage already established is not pretty easy for VG.
Attacker could get timed here.
Oh, turns back round, but Daps is going to get the entry. This man is on fire today. He's already found his 5th kill just 5 rounds in. Now the rotation's off of B coming through, but they've already posted up on the A site. Cirque again in his tent. He's on a camping trip, and he is finding frags. 2nd kill for him. Fugly even catches Zoking, who earlier pushed into that palace. And VG, they've just been shut out of this round. Lovey will drop Daps, but small consolation frag.
The big kill there is the Daps being able to find Attacker in CPL. If Attacker can just find 1 frag and then stay alive for a little bit, that allows for people to rotate off of B. Again, Zoking doesn't have to be in a position where he feels like he has to move out of apps. He can play more passive, actually wait for the bomb to be attempted to plant it, and then, you know, potentially cancel that. If he gets a kill off of that, then it's going to start creating a complete chaos within the ranks of Energy. They're going to have to look in 14 different directions, not really having any good idea of what's going on. But instead, they're able to set up control around the connector and CPL, and that way just kill off any rotation that comes over from B.
Nice to see Cirque starting off at least with the first round with the AWP, because of course he is a big factor, and we've seen maps where he's been fairly quiet. Of course, up against North yesterday on this exact map was a bit of an example. And although he's stepped up when it came down to overpass, Mirage was not a good game. So if NRG wants to find this victory here on Mirage on Vici's map pick, they are going to need to pull this in pretty confidently.
I guess luckily for Energy, they don't have to play Nuke in this best of 3 if
Yep.
it goes to a third map. So
Few.
that might be a sigh of relief. They got pretty tossed around there by North on that very map.
But Inferno, still a good map for VG, as it has been for a lot of Chinese teams as of late as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's where we've seen Tai Lu and MVP really show their face in previous StarSeries. But look at this, in mid, VG showing their face, very aggressive. The one rifle getting shut down, and Fugly, he has no problem with that. 3 kills in an instant.
We'll be happy with that. Fugly had a really good game on Overpass versus North. Dropping a 30 bomb. Not bad at all. And Energy managing to strike back here. So VG's 4-0 start has been negated, but they will have weapons now. Not the greatest of buys, though, as you can see, very limited on utility. So question comes into call whether or not they're going to go aggressive again. It didn't work out with Summer in the previous round. We saw Energy having a really passive setup initially to fend off any sort of aggression. They've actually gone with a 3-man setup towards B. 2 people players on Cat. I'm actually going to hear the steps here from Breeze. So rotation could be in time in a matter of seconds for the Chinese team.
Oh, Freeman, he just tried to set up on top of the truck, but they're just going to burst in with a flashbang. He has to fall back. Lovey gets overwhelmed because he's not expecting close positions. And it's the same story for Freeman, who only gets 1. If they win the next duel, they can surely retake, but NRG are locking down mid. Ethan with a late lurk may have just put this round into perspective for VG, who are now a player down. And with no utility really and no kit to play with, this retake is going to look harder and harder by the second. We've already got NRG posted up in very awkward post plants for VG because 2 players in the apartments is not easy to clear out. So they're going to give it a go, but they haven't realized how difficult this is about to be. Smoke up in the apartments keeps Cirque back, and Fugly, he may get blindsided by the player moving in through market. Kill coming through for Summer, but he's stuck in a 1v2. Even with low health on NRG, he has no need to get rid of them and no chance to win the round. He has to save. And NRG, they've pulled it back 4-4.
Yeah, they have. And what looked like it was initially a really perfect setup, really, for VG in that scenario is kind of negated by the fact that, as you said, both Lovey and Freeman not expecting that quick push out from the B bomb side. And Attacker was just really committed to holding off mid. Doesn't actually go for the return frag on Ethan, as I think you had Zoking moving through connector and getting picked off. So they managed to maintain the man advantage instead of it constantly being a trade back and forth. I think if Attacker is a bit more aggressive in ladder room there, actually peeks out into mid, finds Ethan, then that allows them to start off the retake much sooner. If they end up in a similar situation where Fugly gets caught out, it's only Zerk and Apps. That could be very doable for Vici, but Attacker needed to be a bit more mobile, a bit more assertive in how he approached that. Still, though, early days, so and we've seen teams be definitely better on their T sides, I guess, than their CT sides. It remains to be seen if that's the case for Vici as well.
Especially for the Chinese teams.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they've struggled. It's been a theme for the last 3 years, really, where Chinese teams have had pretty decent T sides, but just really horrid CT sides. Summer's going to go aggressive, though, with the 1 saved rifle. He's going to find Breezy up in A-apps. It's a nice start to things, but still, you'd have to favor Energy in this round, considering the weaponry on the side of the CTs.
Yeah, but Zoking does get a gun, so we've got some weaponry now. He's pushed deep in the palace. No armor to support it, but could throw it over to one of his 2 teammates. Now, NRG, again, still harassing middle. This has been a constant problem for VG so far. Smoked out of the window pretty much every single round. So the position of Lovey is going to be completely countered by that smoke.
I do like the fact that VG are kind of putting all their eggs in one basket, though. They know that they don't have the weaponry or utility to set up for a retake, essentially, so they're banking on basically guessing the right place where, right bomb site that Energy would approach. Unfortunately for them, it does look like Energy are moving over towards the A bomb site. Zoking is still in a similar position to what we saw in one of the first buy rounds, where he could get a couple of easy picks, potentially deny a bomb plant. I don't think Daps is going to check this.
Oh, good shot, but Cirque's there for the trade. He gets spotted. Zoking can just call for rotations. That's the bomb. He has all the information and all the kills as well. Zoking going for 3rd, but he's going to peek wide. And with no armor, the aim punch will be a problem. However, he may save this round for VG. It's a 2-man advantage, even with weak weaponry, and the M4 has been thrown over to Freeman, who can actually defend with good health. The Eagle's shot not landing, and Fugly trying to draw this round back into the control of NRG, but they don't have the time to mess around with. They've got to get this plant in, and the long flank has been found from Lovey. That will drop the bomb. He just has to stay alive. Surely no chance here for Ethan. And VG, they're going to win the eco. Pretty successful round, all things considered.
Yeah, Zoking, it all comes off of the fact that Breeze drops that AK this summer, initially in AFs, and Zoking doing a brilliant job with finding a a weird off angle. Daps definitely doesn't expect it. Manages to drop the bomb as well, so that calls for an early rotation. And you can see the quick flank that's behind from Lovey. You know, by the time NRG are able to actually clear out the side and feel comfortable enough to actually commit to it, then Lovey's made a perfect rotation. It's really well done by VG. They even get a free op out of it onto Summer as well. And again, giving up mid control.
I feel like they're just scared at this point because again they've just
it hasn't been panning out for them,
access.
has it?
Daps looked like he wanted to run through that smoke, but probably a good decision not to.
Yeah. The bait setup is in place. Attacker obviously dropping smokes and firing off shots. It's going to take attention away from Zoking here. Zoking in this kind of a situation needs to find 1 to 2 kills, or at least be able to grab enough attention to the point where Attacker is able to get multiple kills.
Yeah, and again with Lovey up on short as well, it's just a further bit of defense here towards the middle. Although when I say defense, I don't really mean it in the sense that VG have any map control. It's all given up to NRG. Look how easy they're able to take their way towards short. And they're pushing through the ladder room as well, finding multiple kills in different rounds. So that's something that VG need to be aware of. You can see how scared they are now. Falling back off of short is Lovey. They don't want to contest with any kind of crossfire. And he's got to win this duel because Cirque's boosted up, but Cirque hits a shot. One man left up in the apps, and he will at least defend with his life. Doubling down is Freeman. Again, having a sick performance here for the side of VG. Can he find the third? Breezy's making plenty of noise, but the shot is whiffed. However, it doesn't seem to matter when there's an Attacker in the back line, and it is all on Daps once again.
The push takes just too much time for NRG, really. Every time they've moved toward, or the last couple of rounds when they move towards bomb sites, VG are already in place to actually deal with it. Obviously, a lot of it comes down to the fact that Freeman is able to get a double kill there instead of going down to Cirque, for instance, or getting traded immediately. VG, they're showing that they're here to fight. They're not giving up yet. And once again, we're seeing like the individual skill that is within this Chinese lineup. That's never really been in question. It's always been down to the strategical approach and how their decision making is in a lot of these situations. But they're doing really well for themselves up until this point.
Yeah, good start to the map. I just think we need to see VG be more proactive in middle. If they can start to throw in some aggressive rifle rounds, take control towards the top, use the utility to hold NRG back if they get good spawns towards window, and actually stop that smoke from going down, which is easier said than done.
Yeah.
Of course, jump blocking it.
We've seen, obviously, more and more teams apply the strategy where they use a Molotov in window
Renegades.
early on.
Nifty does it every single CT round on this map.
Yeah, and they also might be feigning off, I guess, trying to get mid-control because they know in whichever round Zerk might have an op in his hands, that's not a battle that they want to take. They talked about it in the pre-game interview. So maybe that's also something that plays into their heads as well. So we might see some aggression now that they know they've lowered the economy of the energy side.
I like this setup though. They're going for the A smokes, and Cirque is still towards top mid, so he can come in late lurking and try and kill them, kill the rotators if he can catch an open bomb plant. But it all relies on the bomb actually going down for Cirque to be of any use in this round. NRG going to give it a shot, but the CTs, they want to contest this. They want to give it a fight. Cirque has actually dropped a mid rotation. Lovey falls off of short and falls to the grave, and Zoking can't hold the line either. Ethan has found his kill. Now the CTs are all over the bomb site. Some are trying to defend it with his life, but again, only one shot for the AWP, and it's only 1-for-1 here for VG, who already had a man disadvantage. Even though Freeman finds two, Cirque is on the long wrap, and if Freeman sucked the bomb, he would win the round now, but he's lost his opportunity. Taps it, smokes it, but he doesn't commit to it. Cirque giving away his position, and there's Freeman with a peek. Nice burst. VG win the retake.
That's very nicely played by Freeman as well. Again, it's off of the back of information that Lovey goes down in mid to Cirque to start off the round, right? So when there's no side of Cirque really for that entirety of all the trades that's happening on the side, he can, well, not necessarily safely assume, but it's a fairly good guess to believe that Cirque is going to be on the wrap really and trying to defend that bomb plant from Catwalk, given how NRG have set up their after plant. So very well done setting up the smoke that forces Cirque to actually commit to the bomb plant. And Freeman doesn't mess up when he's given the opportunity. So 7 rounds on the board for VG. And even with the bomb plant, not enough money on the side of NRG to actually buy up fully. They're going to get CZ's armor, Mac 10 actually on Breezy. But you would imagine this is a round that VG should be capable of dealing with.
Well, you'd hope so, but the B-Rush can be a cruel mistress, and they're already into the site. Freeman does get the first. Bomb dropped as well, so there's a full rotate coming through for VG, but he needs to get at least a little bit more done. He does at least find 2. Attacker, the same story. And Fugly is very late into the site, so they'll be fully aware of where it is. Although pink damage done, and he's going to find the dome of Attacker. Luckily enough, Zoking stays alive. There was a reality there where he finds those both of those low players and has a very realistic chance.
There's definitely a possibility, and Vici, once again, just being a bit fortunate. They've set up with 3 players towards that B-bomb site a fair few times already. This time it pans out as well, so even though Freeman and Lovey aren't necessarily able to get multi-kills or actually maintain control of the bomb site from the initial push, you do have Attacker as a bit of an insurance policy at the back of the site by Forest. So it's, again, working out really well for them, and now they're going to rotate off that back to a more default setup. But then again, they've already kind of showcased the fact that they're on to what NRG have liked to do with these B pushes.
I'm surprised at how effective they have been on the CT side, though. Again, like giving up mid so easily, and even in this round, not even looking towards it in the sense of not having a window player.
Yeah, no, some teams are just remarkably efficient with this. Starladder was one of the first teams that refused to ever show in mid. Go somewhere, even if he spots the arm of Daps, is not going to be quick enough to actually react. It's a big opener as well. It leaves the A-bomb side pretty weak. Lovey might need to come into action here pretty soon. Zoking is in a pretty exposed position.
And Freeman's actually left B. We don't have a single B player right now. While that's a very big risk, it's actually the right call to make given the setup of NRG. There's no one on the site, and now NRG going to push right into it. Ethan with the first kill. Zoking tries to defend, but again, he's being split from the apartments in the same time, and he will not be able to hold it. Nice round from NRG. VG fully doesn't seem to be a problem for the North Americans.
Yeah, just very well done. Like you can see the execution, how a well-timed execution is just really tough to deal with as soon as you're a man down on the side of Vici, because their focus is pulled in so many different directions. The players playing up by balcony over Shadow there is initially, obviously he wants to focus on Daps coming out of Apps because he knows Daps has had a presence there already, but he needs to actually address the fact that Attacker has gone down by Connector.
And very exposed as well as the balcony position.
Oh,
you know, it's not like you can hide under dark and you can kind of isolate your duels or play from sight and jiggle peek boxes. You know, you commit to a duel and you try and win it. There's no way to survive that other than fighting.
It doesn't work out in that instance. NRG get a 5th on the board. Would like to see them to get to 7, considering they did have massive struggles versus North on their CT side. So all the rounds they can get is going to be massively beneficial here. It's not like they have the T sides of all T sides to fall back on.
Oh,
well,
nice nade.
Boost from Vici is not going to work out on Catwalk, and obviously Daps finding one guy boosted up, that is a bit of a tell that there's another person on Catwalk as well. Might lead NRG to believe actually that there are that Vici are running the 3-man setup towards B though.
Yeah, the fact they don't burst out of the apartments instantly makes me consider that maybe they're scared of a stack and don't want to run into these CZs that can be so lethal.
Obviously, the issue with that is that they don't know that Lovey is the sole defender of this B bomb site, and you can see the bomb making the rotation through underpass. They're going to move up towards A. Positions is pretty decent for V2 to actually be able to cut off Breezy as he moves in towards T-spawn, but the question, or the real difficulty for them here is actually being able to fend off the players coming through Connector.
And the time here for NRG is ticking away, so luckily enough they do find that first kill, but again, double ramp setup here for VG, the aggression, it pans out. Good flashbang, Daps cannot commit to that duel, and a rifle has been grabbed, but Cirque has a very nice off angle to catch off that ramp rotation. While Daps spots the CT spawn, he can make contact through that crack, and Ethan's going to drop Lovey on the rotate off of B very, very late into the round as well. So VG, they're losing their opportunity here. Summer's trying to hold on to the AWP, and he's been spotted and surrounded. Does get a kill on the retreat, but he might just get shot in the back.
It's very likely, or nearly finds Fugly, but it will go down. So 6 rounds on the board for NRG, very much needed, and that means that they're going to end the half with a pretty good buy, and that's not going to be the same story for Vici. They're going to have to rock the ZZs and armor. And now, I guess, considering what we've seen so far, they kind of have to push aggressively. They have to push the envelope and try to do something different, try to disrupt the setups that NRG are building on their T sides. But it's going to be really tough to do so. And like, you can't necessarily fend off mid-aggression with CZs only.
And at least they have utility, but no kits, no rifles, no AWP. I mean, this is bare bones for VG.
It really is.
And they don't seem to be getting aggressive, at least for the time being, which is understandable. They want to, you know, they don't want to play into this slow default that NRG have been running time after time. And again, no one on B.
It seems like they're setting up. Summer's got a pop flash coming out of the window here anymore. So he's waiting for the smoke to dissipate so he can join in on the fray. And then they're just going to bum rush towards mid. from the looks of it. And depending on how far down and how committed NRG are, which they aren't as of right now, that could spell real disaster.
Well, there's a flash out, and the push coming through for VG. Nice aggression. Freeman finds one, but he doesn't check his close right, so Daps can do the damage. Him and Ethan combining for 4. And NRG, quick as you like it, they lock down mid. They may take the first casualty, but that doesn't seem to matter. And again, last round of the half, so money is not a factor. Zoking under the balcony and almost gets spotted, but he sees Daps. Oh, the CZ sucks at range, and he's not going to be able to finish him off. I feel like some players probably could have hit that, because that gun is still insane.
Definitely, a lot of people could have hit that. Yeah. Bit of a lost opportunity for Zoking, but in any case, like if he drops them, the player in jungle, it still has 3 energy players to get through.
The round is over.
Yeah, but you see the intent behind VG's setup right there. If energy gets sloppy in that kind of scenario and don't throw a Molotov in towards the window, that could very easily go in the wrong direction if they're committed further down towards pit. If they have to, if they're setting up, for instance, for something that's very typical, like a pop flash in towards connector with having 2 players clear out both sides of it. If they just find the right, or I guess incorrect timing, right, as VG pushes out, that could easily be 2 to 3 kills going the way of VG, where they're able to pick up guns and just regain mid control completely. But it's not to be. So NRG do manage to bring it back to 7 rounds, which I think is much needed. But now it becomes the question of whether or not VG have something to offer on their T side. Well,
let's find out. Smoke set up towards A, very fast push, and it's Ethan playing retake here. We have a kit also on DAP, so NRG don't have a problem with giving up the bomb site, as they can just swiftly move back in together as a team, and they will already start to do that, similar to how the first pistol went. Double kill on the defense before the bomb even gets planted. The attacker's just hunting, but he gets hunted down. Breezy with the shot from the rotate, and Summer can't even win his duel. No one's winning any fights here for VG, and that's all that needs to happen. NRG, a very, very clean pistol round there, and wow, absolutely no problems at all.
Yeah, no, they got a little bit fortunate as well. Ethan getting dinked up, so he has to give up the entire bomb set and set up for the retake. But before the retake even needs to start, Breezy finds Lovey through the smoke from Catwalk there as he tries to plant the bomb. If the bomb plant goes down, then VG obviously can commit more players towards pushing forward into CPL and so forth. And it's a very different ball game, but sometimes Lady Fortuna just favors one team more so than the other, and this time it's going to be energy, so they get the pistol round to get them off to a good start in the second half.
But again, only a eco here. Bomb plant in the first round means that VG can go up and buy similarly how NRG did on their T side in the third round.
Exactly.
So money will not be a problem, and NRG have played the same game in the sense of having all these rifles. Cirque saving for the AWP has just gone for the USP, which can be a risk when you see teams force these rounds, but VG not going to do so, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I like the boost up as well. Dabs is actually locked on the apartments from that boost instead of on middle, because he's got a teammate on short. But Cirque is being hunted down, at least in the window room, and Fugly firing off shots. Dabs misses his fight, and they try and secure the weapon on short, but Breezy not going to allow them to do so. And 1 by 1, time ticking away, and the player count 2, VG, have been removed from the round.
Freeman's gotten onto the B bomb side, but obviously no bomb in his hands. He's going to find an easy kill on Zerk here.
Ooh.
But unfortunately for him, Zerk only opted to go with the ZZ, so nothing really to build off of that. And Breezy is going to be able to nab the easy kill to put energy to 9. So Eco doesn't really pan out, but that was never really the big end game for VG either. This is where they're going to make their mark on the second half here. Rifles come out. Some utility to speak of. 2 smokes up to this point. And 3 flashes. So you don't have a ton to work with here, and they're going to use one of the smokes immediately, actually, as well, towards towards window. Yeah, they just seem committed to going towards A, and they're going to have 0 smokes to do it as well. We've seen this being a massive issue. Like you might be able to trade back and forth and actually get into like a 3v3 situation, but you have no way of actually getting the bomb planted down safely.
This is like NRG's first buy on the T side. They just ran through a smoke on ramp. Like this is exactly the same thing, except even less to play with for VG. So,
and look at the setup from Energy. 3 players in connector. Ooh, Soaking Eye is actually going to find the first kill in that scenario. It doesn't get traded immediately either.
Lucky timing for them to grab the bomb as well, because NRG actually just dropped it in the open, but it is secured, and so is the man advantage for NRG as the nade drops Freeman. And VG, they have so little smokes, they can't even get the bomb down on the site because they don't have any control of it. The peek from CT spawn with Daps is absolutely fine, and he can just challenge, meaning VG is scared, cowering in the corner. NRG not spotting anyone may even question the B play now, so we might see some rotations come through, which slightly weakens this A defense, but Won't be a huge problem here for NRG. They'll still keep at least a vast majority on this site.
Yeah, it's going to have to be on Zoking really with that one flash to try to set up some sort of a pop flash towards connector to see if they can find an easy kill. But yeah, as you mentioned, the rotation over towards B is actually coming in. And instead of just having one man rotate, they're doing it as a duo to clear out, get map control. Long term, that's not a bad play from Energy at all. But if VG find the right timing here, they can just completely decimate the 2 remaining players on that A bomb site.
It's a good call given the lack of info, but the issue is it's wrong. So 20 seconds left, bomb spotted, and going straight into the connector. That will be the round. Big mistake made from VG there. Not sure how that blunder happens. And even though Summer gets a kill towards a connector, Daps can defend the CT spawn with a pistol. And there we go. The bomb's too open. The plant is not possible, and VG are going to lose the round.
Yeah, the fact that Daps actually wins out his duel in CT spawn there, being kind of tucked into a corner, just makes all the difference. If he goes down, it should be an easy bomb plant, but then again, bomb, as you mentioned, was dropped out in a pretty forward position towards connector. So yeah, you can pull into question what the idea from VG was there with execute, because they only had two smokes to start off the round, and he used both of them for mid right off the bat. So when they are not able to just find an immediate kill on that A bomb site and run up, get an easy bomb plant because they've just removed the 2 defenders on the A bomb site, the entire hope of actually winning a round kind of drops significantly. And well, Zerk is going to make some money here with the MP9. Finds 2 players in underpass. Soaking will get the trade, but still, it's perfectly fine if you're Energy at this point.
Yeah. Quick cleanup kills, and with precision as well. NRG going to take a couple of casualties in this round, but hopefully things shouldn't fall away too much.
Attacker just casually walked up into the A-bomb site, one-tapped Ethan, and decided to bail out. He's going to get an MP9 for his troubles as well.
He swaps a Deagle there. It makes sense, of course. Soaking's low, so he doesn't want the MP9 because chances are he won't get multiple opportunities. Wants to go for the one shot with a Deagle.
Dabs is in a forward position, though. It's a off angle that they probably won't be able to check or not necessarily get a freebie on. Attacker turns his back, and there you go. Double kill for Dabs. He's been playing really well this game.
Yeah, right. And I was going to mention this. Dabs is an IGL that always seems to take the hit for the team when it comes down to like having a worse weapon. We always see him taking the FAMAS
in the first buy round. We were surprised to see the op coming out that early, but that was because Dabs literally spent his entire savings to drop an op to Zerk, and then he ran around with the ZZ.
He still got a kill, yeah.
So,
and he's top fragging.
Yeah, he's doing it in style as well. And that's like one of the real difference makers as well for Energy. Usually you're pretty expectant of Breezy, Ethan, and Zerk to actually have pretty big games, and then it comes down to whether or not Daps and Fugly are able to have an impact. But in this game, it's Daps leading the way, and that makes Energy a much, much scarier side. And
it hasn't been the star performers stepping up, at least. In the one map that NRG have at least won yesterday, in Overpass, it was Fugly again, like not one of this core 3 fraggers. Of course, Zerk was on fire as well, but yeah, Daps and Fugly, both players that we don't really know to be the insurance policy here for NRG, and now we're going to need some real work done on this B site. Breezy with 1. Entry still coming through as Attacker does manage to find 1, and with the split up short, they isolate Breezy, who's got his attention diverted. Ethan now the last man up, and VG have just overwhelmed this B bomb site with a split through short, meaning there's no way this can be retaken.
Yeah, that's onto his AK, Molotov, armor, and flash going to the next round. Really solid job by Summer there to actually win out the duel with the Zerk. Zerk posted up in a position where he has an op and everything. You'd imagine he'd win out those kind of duels almost any given day, but Summer gets the best of him, and that starts everything off.
I feel like we haven't had one successful retake this entire game.
Yeah, we never really ended up in a whole...
Freeman had 1 on A.
Yeah, that's true. But
other than that,
it hasn't been a whole lot of bomb plans, really, like situations where there has been, I guess defensible to actually go for a retake where you can actually justify it.
I guess it makes sense. Like NRG's T side, they were very slow in mid. They were finding picks before they committed, so they were committing in 3v3s, for example, and then just killing everyone before the bomb even went down. But we're early into the T side to actually have a real shot of seeing VG's chances. They've found 1 now after a couple of losses in a row, but now NRG are going to be the ones calling in a tactical pause, trying to play safe. Have a speak to Chet, the new coach, the latest addition to this roster.
And I mean, considering how many kills VG were able to get in these previous rounds, the money on the side of Energy isn't necessarily too great. So they're going to have to spend, they're going to have to break the piggy bank pretty much. So if they were to lose this, you can see there is a FAMAS and an MP9 in play. They do have decent amount of utility on everyone outside of Sturk. But if they were to lose this one, then we're looking at a tied-up game with Vici in a pretty decent position, actually, because NRG obviously has the CT side. They're going to end up having to buy once eco, depending on, whether or not they lose the round. But that's definitely the big opportunity that Vici has to kind of get a firm grip of the game.
Well, a bit of a scrambled buy here for NRG, and a bit of a faster B play for VG, it seems. They're setting up quickly in the apartments. They might not commit off the back of this, given the current setup, because there are only 3 players here. They could just be trying to bait out utility early on from NRG, get those Molotovs out of their hands, so at least later, VG could go for this full-on commitment. And at the very least, they've forced out a smoke and a boost. Daps is up on the site, and this is a very good position with the weapon he has. He can play close range.
Yeah, Breeze is going to be the one taking attention from the corner as well. The issue, though, for NRG, as you said, they don't really have any Molotovs on this B-bomb site. They have a smoke from Breezy, but if he's going to be the initial point of contact, he's not going to get a smoke down in time where it's actually going to do anything. Okay, he's going to go early with it. So that buys them a bit more time, but nobody on NRG is actually pushing aggressively. So they're not getting any map information out of this. Vici can actually sit still and be happy about how this is progressing. The attacker's already set up for a flank too. Actually, are they going to rotate off? There's no real reason for them to rotate off. They haven't even gathered much map control of their own.
Yeah, I feel like they're scared of some aggression from NRG and therefore didn't want to commit to B instantly because they thought NRG could have taken ramp and had the information. Position given away from Daps, but Cirque finds a kill in the meantime. So
it's going to be double fake.
Yeah, this is a weird one. The bomb's still up in B apps, but VG are committing towards A. That should draw rotations, but still Daps commits to the B site. So this bomb has a big question mark on it right now. 20 seconds left, and if they want to win the round, it's got to plant instantly. And this is such a sick flank. He's found his way behind enemy lines in the window and can wrap market. NRG is just focused in the CT spawn, taking the fight to the A site. And this bomb goes down for VG. Incredible fake. The fact that they've drawn everyone off of this B site has given them a loophole, given them a window of opportunity, but Daps wants to close it shut, will not be able to. 3-on-3 now with aggressive positioning taken from Summer in the market. He's got a lot of players to deal with, cannot keep the round going. So Freeman and Attacker, they've got to hold the line. Molotovs are up. They can throw that on the bomb, try and delay this defuse, but there is a smoke on the CT side. The shot's being missed by Freeman. Now it is just Attacker. Bomb not for him, but he does the damage to the first, spray to the second, and that will be the round 1 from NRG. But I like the fake.
The fake was actually really, really cool, and they sell it so well. Zoking was even able to get a frag there as the one guy who committed to the E-bomb site. Summer with a great rotation through CPL, but you feel like they would have to get more.
Yeah, they missed all their jewels,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. The Summer definitely should have been able to get at least one fragging kitchen there. I think his initial position where that actually opens him up to getting flashed is just unnecessary. Same thing for Freeman. Definitely should have been able to get at least one frag in a scenario like that. So. That's Vici missing out on a big opportunity to actually do a lot of damage. And the fact that once they actually remove Dabs, or like even before they remove Dabs, why wouldn't they try to potentially set up for a catwalk plant? Because they had one player inside of Connector who had already spotted out towards catwalk. They didn't see anyone, even though Dabs was around the corner, so it could have ended terribly. But given the information they had, that should have been a catwalk plant, especially when you think about where the other players who were set initially up for that fake towards A are going to have to rotate in from.
And my question is, why would Summer play that market, knowing that NRG had to rotate CT because they'd fully left B through to the A site and had already shown their face in CT? He could have known they were going to rotate market at the very least. And still took the fight. Of course, overwhelmed by the man advantage. And now that's what's happening here to NRG. 2 players down, split up, boost up in the window, and Cirque not going to hit his shot, at least in the connector. Breezy certainly will, and the fence from the site now has to come through for Fugly, but it's only good enough for one. Still, somehow the damage has come through by and large to leave us in a clutch situation. Attacker can get the plant in at the very least, and Breezy doesn't have a smoke for the Molotov that Attacker has. Counter perfectly as he pushes up towards the sandwich. Has Breezy heard the footsteps? I feel like he has. He's checking the corner. He's looking towards a balcony, and there's the spot, but it doesn't matter. Attacker with the headshot, and VG with the round. They're still in this game, fighting tooth and nail to not get eliminated in day 3.
Yeah, they reset NRG. So they had the opportunity in the previous round. They kind of lost a golden chance for them to do so there, but attempt number 2, they will be successful, and that's just great job off the back. Predominantly, it's not necessarily the execute that does anything for them at all. It's just the fact that both Lovey and Attacker are able to find 2 openers in mid and A respectively before they even commit to the bomb site. Breezy does a valiant effort of bringing it back, but not to be. So NRG, they're in for a bit of a rough time here. They're going to have to, well, force into this. And if this doesn't work out, we're looking at a double eco.
And at this kind of scoreline so late in the game, a double eco is going to really crush NRG and put VG in the lead on this T side. And that would be a perfect opportunity to make some money, and VG are looking to exploit that already. They pulled in a Mac 10 to this round. Although that is a lot down to economical restraint. They don't have cash themselves. No one has enough money to buy himself an AK. But this could be perfect. An opportunity created for VG. As long as they can reach out and grab it, they may even be able to upset this first map and take it away. But now they take control of middle. NRG not fighting back. Lovey very careful there with the jump. Does not want to get spotted by Breezy and taken down by that Deagle. Instead, he goes to the connector, and he can just, again, dive into the window room, try and split through the city spawn, be a nuisance to NRG, make them question their defense and their backline. Summer finds a shot through the smoke as Daps goes down in the B apartments. And one by one, VG starting to crush this pretty weak buy from NRG.
Yeah. Still an M4 in play for Cirque. Still an opportunity to be able to do something, but as you can see, Vici slowly gathering their troops and manning up towards the B bomb site, and NRG on there, and they were focused on 3 players towards A, but now actually, if Vici makes too much noise or take too long, full rotation is going to come in from NRG and Breezy. Oh, it's actually going to find 2 kills, even though he's burning. That's massive. 3 players still alive, though, for now for Vici, and well, in a matter of seconds, the equal man situation is brought down to a 1v3. Ethan does have pulse, does have armor as well, finds attacker, so it's still doable. Has diffuse kit as well, no utility.
Oh, this is such a good setup. They're both peeking him at the same time. That was great. Freeman, from the positions there in that 2v1, Freeman was making contact. The second he peeks, that close player can just go wide, at least with the Mac 10 and spray him down. There was no way to win that clutch.
Yeah, Breezy doing the best to his ability to actually being able to fend off that Vici push, and doing that through a Molotov as well. When there's like force, it's actually jarring how many times you see teams actually throw out a Molotov for a place where like, oh yeah, we should, you know, flush someone out from this position, but then not actually focus on the position once a Molotov goes down, and that's what happens with Vici.
I just hope that the T's avoid it, you know, run away from it.
Well, he did, but he ran into 2 players. They were just completely ignoring it. The mid aggression is going to come out. Summer's not going to find a kill. He does do significant damage. Attacker, don't get too over aggressive here. Okay, well, that works. Spray transfer is on point, and he's just going to continue. 3 quick frags from him. They know where the 2 remaining players are as well.
That's an example of information being power for VG. Yeah, okay, you lose your Mac 10 in middle, he doesn't really get any damage done, but he spots 4 players. So that's enough info for VG to just dart to this A site and get the bomb down and guarantee the round as a result, instead of playing a slower approach and losing that Mac 10 only to get, you know, NRG rotating back to sites and actually having a chance of defending it.
Not going to be too scared about the potential 1 USP defender on A.
No.
Well, that's a good sign. Again, that's one of the things that really impressed us with Vici versus SK. The fact that when they were playing Cash, they were so determined as to what they wanted to do. As soon as they found a pick, they had an immediate plan as to what bomb site they wanted to go to, how they wanted to basically force the rotations of SK, and we're seeing that they're still showcasing that kind of prowess in a lot of these situations where they know they have a man advantage, or know they've potentially got or made a pretty big hole in the defense of energy. They're just going to pounce on it every single time. Weirdly enough, it's actually going to be Vici to take a tactical pause here. I guess they're mulling things over.
They've got enough, you know. They've not really used that many, so
yeah. No, Vici are definitely in a solid spot in that sense, but they're probably mulling things over whether or not they're going to be going up against a buy from Energy or not, because this could have been a potential eco again for Energy, or at least a bit of a half buy in order to get an op on Zerk, but they're going to fully commit to this. Utility is not great for Energy with the lowered economy, so not the perfect amount of Molotovs that you would have liked to see on a CT side. So maybe we'll see a bit of a slow-paced play from Vici.
Or a fast approach to be, but no commitment just yet. Breezy alone. VG, gotta be careful. That nade could do some serious damage. It does tag down Summer. And Breezy now calling for a bit of a rotate. Fugly moves into position, but look at these nades on the CT side here for NRG. Both players on the B site have one flashbang between them. We're going to have to see some Angels one. I like the setup at least. Fugly taking the attention away from the site while Breezy plays a bit of a bait on the bench. But for now, VG setting up smokes. They've already got 2 players deep in the apartments, Freeman and Summer, so this will definitely be a B commitment. With the smokes going over, the nades landing on the card, contact is made, and Breezy's only good for 1. Fugly either has to fall back or buy time for the either. Freeman entering up once again. Both kills to this B bomb site, and the smoke still lining over. NRG have run away. They've given it up. Save coming through here for the CTs, and somehow VG have done it. The B site has crumbled beneath NRG, and all it took was 2 kills.
All it took was 2 kills, yeah. That's obviously a massive get for VG as well. And I mean, curiously, when you look at the money situation there, as you saw on the scoreboard, VG are not necessarily in a terrible spot money-wise. Lovey's sitting at 7K. They could very easily decide to go hunting for this. They should know that NRG are in the situation that we talked about, where they can, at best, afford a 1 buy. And if they lose that, it's going to be an eco almost regardless. But if they allow them to actually hold on to 3 weapons, Kevlar and whatnot, that could entice energy to actually buy up into the next round.
If anything, a buy round this would be good for VG, rather than an eco and then full rifles to come out when they hit 14.
I mean, it's about the same kind of buy, really, for energy, though, by and large. They're going to have more utility now than what they had in the previous round. They're still going to have 3 calls, 1 FAMAS, and that's pretty much the difference.
That's all right.
So it's much better. I think Vici kind of lost an opportunity there to really stick it to energy by not hunting after these kills. But then again, I guess they do secure their own economy long term if that chase were to go wrong.
And don't give over AKs to a Mac 10 player, for example.
Yeah, that is also a fair point. We'll see, though. Big key is, though, no ops still on Cirque.
Wow. No open VG either. Back to the A site. Smoke's over, and look how fast they push. They're pushing before the smokes are even down. Molotov in the jungle pushes back 1 player as well. And no, it's not even smokes. It's Molotovs to at least push VG into the bomb site and allow that plant to come through. Finally, the smoke wall is placed, but jungle's not covered at all. We can see Fugly move up through the connector, as it was a very open plant. I'd like to see a late wrap from VG, 1 player to push in through middle, and that will begin. Attacker starts to push in through the T-spawn. He at least has the flank covered as well, so more info that NRG are all retaking together, but they may be very, very fast. Attacker has to speed up his flank. Soaking with 1, but he gets caught on the ladder, and Cirque will be able to punish him for exactly that, who doubles down. Now it's the late flank to mid, but surely they've got to expect it. No smoke for the connector, and Attacker can dive in. 2 kills there on the bomb. Cirque sticks it, he's going to win the round. NRG, by the skin of their teeth, find 13.
Wrap taking just a little bit too long, and it also is a bit of an issue that the 2 of the players really from Vici in that afterline position are kind of stuck around Pit and Tetris, which is not optimal afterline positions, especially I think it was Zoking stuck on Tetris. That's so easy to just flush out if you're CT doing a retake there, and he can't really change up his angle too much. It's going to be easy for you to kind of get into that angle and pre-fire him as a CT. So yeah, Vici just needed 1 more frag really from the 3 defenders initially, or just a much quicker rotate from the attacker, because the plant wasn't optimal, as you could see.
No. Well, this mid push is optimal, at least for NRG, because VG has just lost the first 2 players into the round, Freeman and Lovey. Freeman's had a very strong game as well, so it's a big kill to lose. As VG try and sink their teeth back into this round, they will go back towards middle, Zoking alone, and again, in this 3-on-5, very split up RVG. None of them grouped, none of them in at least tradable positions. Zoking waits for his teammate. So what is the game plan here from VG? Because NRG are not in a position where they're forced to get kills or they're forced to get aggressive. That pressure is going to be on the Chinese to actually find a kill at least and pull back this man advantage.
Well, for right now, the one opportunity they really have is towards that B bomb site. As you can see, pretty split up defense. Zoking might run into a bit of a nasty surprise in Breezy in the corner of short, and that more or less deflates any hope that Vici had of winning this round. All right, attacker spots out Fugly, and he's also hearing, he's gonna bypass Cirque as well. Okay, this is sneaky. He could go in towards window and actually find 2 kills here.
No. He even heard the scope. He
Oh.
tried to pre-aim for it, but Cirque's going to hit the shot. That is so unfortunate. Nice play from Attacker, not taking the instant kill, but it's not going to work out. And as a result, look at this. Summer, 10 points of health, 10 seconds left.
You need to, well, I guess you can't stay alive, but you
They don't
either
really
need
have
to do
any
that
loss
or actually
bonus,
die.
yeah.
But I guess Summer, he's sitting at 300, so he wants to hold on to his AK, and you still have Lovey, Zoking, and Freeman sitting from 4 to 3, or well, 4.3 to about 5.2. So they're going to have money at least going into this round as well, with Summer holding on to it. But this is a big one. Vici had so many opportunities to really mess with energy, and well, haven't been able to take advantage of it. And that's a necessity. Keep in mind, this is Vici's map pick as well, going into Overpass.
That's a worry.
And the one map Energy have looked like the team they were online is Overpass so far. And that's a scary notion for Vici. And you talked about how Daps, we talked about it to start things off, how, or the start of the second half, how Daps has been an integral part of the rounds that Energy were able to get, how they managed to kind of scrape back on that T side as well. On the CT side, it's been all about Breeze. The guy's sitting at 27 kills now. Daps hasn't moved from the 20 mark, but that's partly because Breeze has just been skyrocketing up the rankings here. And he's doing it all really for them. Again, we haven't seen too much impact from Zerk on this map. Again, very often not going towards mid. This time he's actually going to have the spawn for it, and he's going to make the catwalk jump.
Ooh. The thing is, there's not been much orbing from VG either to counter that. Not that it has been a problem for them. Now we do have Freeman on the AWP, so he's set up very, very fast in the B apartments for that early pick, but no one peeking.
Everyone's had to go on the off for Vici outside of Zoking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we talked about how they're a team that don't really have a dedicated opera. Summer's the closest thing you can get to it, but they feel free to change things up every now and again. Fugly tries to get some information towards Underpass, maybe get an easy pick. That's not going to come to his name as of right now. Vici playing fairly passively, but they're going to set up towards A here. They haven't actually grabbed any map control, but Energy haven't really taken the advantage of it either. Still 2 players stacked on that B bomb site and 1 player over towards ladder room. So weakened defense on A, but they do have Ethan and Fugly able to potentially do something here. We might actually be able to get into a retake scenario, which we haven't seen too much of so far.
Yeah, right, a rare spot, and in 5-on-5 as well, that'd be difficult, but of course it's Breezy to open things up. Does take the headshot to Summer, so NRG's retake will now be made easier. Cirque missing the shot, but they missed the opportunity. 30 seconds now. VG don't have smokes. They've used them at least towards a jungle to color. Spawn is still open, and Ethan can do damage from that exact position if he's challenged. Double connector rotate as well, and it's so open for VG. There's so many positions to watch, and I don't know how the hell they get that kill at the very least, but Ethan's trying to move in to help out his team. Daps with a double does get back on the board, and Cirque hits his shots with the AWP. Yeah, just a weird round for VG again, like very open. I understand going for
some work.
Yeah, I understand they want to go for the open plant, right? But when you don't have smokes down towards the connector, your jungle is smoked, yeah, but your CT's also open. Like, why are you going for the open plants? You're giving so much room for NRG to get kills before you even commit to the plant.
Yeah, it never really becomes a retake scenario because everyone from Vici just perishes before it's like they get the bomb plant down, but as the bomb plant goes down, 3 players are just immediately taken out. And that's, again, yeah, as you mentioned, because they want to get an open plant. Makes sense. It's much easier after plant for you, but you have to get to the after plant position as well. And that never happens for Vici. And every time they've gone towards A, I'm not sure if it doesn't seem like they're setting up for a lurker, because obviously the mid player that they have in each of these scenarios keeps getting picked off as the first man before they've even entered onto the A bomb site.
Oh, that's a big kill though from Attacker. Just runs out of ramp. Fugly was not expecting that. Attacker with a star factor. 2 frags to middle, 2 frags to the A site. Summer finds a frag in middle. Breezy cannot do this on his own, and Daps now is on his own. With 6 points of health, he should run for the hills, save that gun, and give it another go.
So Energy not going to be able to close out the map just yet. I'm just really going down to the wire here. And if you look at the money situation on the side of Energy as well, I mean, it's actually crucial that Daps holds this weapon as well, and he's not going to be able to. So that's 2 players on 2.3K. Cirque, Fugly, and Ethan should be able to buy up weapons, but it's not going to be an ideal buy. So overtime looking very likely here as we move into the 30th round of the first map.
Starting things off strong, as you mean to go on.
Yep.
VG. I mean, at one point they were in control of this game, right? On the second half, it looked like they were the ones who were going to take the victory over NRG. with an early start to the T side, but
Yeah.
it's certainly fallen off since then, with Breezy having a lot of impact and locking it down.
Yeah, speaking of impact on the side of Vici, attacker sitting at 31 frags now.
Wow.
He's been getting at it.
Ran out onto A in the previous round and got 2 opening kills.
He's done that a
5
couple of times
seconds,
as well.
yeah.
Ethan's taken a bit of a beating whenever attacker is showing up. He's sitting at 14 frags now, and he was probably together with Circum Breezy. I think they were all in the top 5 in terms of just rating over the course of the season in Pro League, and he's definitely not been able to live up to that kind of a mark. I guess so far in this game, it's really only Breezy who's been able to do so.
Well, let's see. Weak buy for NRG in the final round. Cirque does have the AWP, but again, as you said, he's not really had the most impact that we would have hoped from him on a map like Mirage. He gets smoked off instantly, so VG, being NRG at their own game, they're going to hold on to top mid, a position that Breezy gets aggressive to and will get taken down. The second player tagged up as well in the retreat. So Fugly down to 15 should give Daps that gun, especially considering his performance so far this map as well. And VG setting up for the mid play, but with 2 players in apartments, it could be a late round B split, and Ethan wants to shut it down from the connector, but he gets shot through the smoke, or at least the edge of it. Zoking with a big kill, and VG, now they're going to hit the B site, but they don't realize NRG is stacked.
Fully stacked up. But we've seen VG take their time in these kind of situations as well before, but gathering the bomb, they're going to commit to this, and that might be their demise. Cirque finds the first kill. Daps is going to follow up with the ZZ. Okay, and we see the retreat happening. Now they just need to close off any sort of a rotation here, and you can see Zoking making the smart choice, jumping into CPL. That's going to be the linchpin. Fugly's already made the rotation past it, but still, they know that the aggressive presence is there from VG. Oh, great shot from Daps.
This is not a round that you should be losing, VG. They have a 2v3. A man disadvantage, but with damage done to the rest of NRG, and the bomb going down on the site. Again, it's an open plant, and again, we can see the peak come through. Daps, he's so able to take down another player, and that's it. NRG win the game. Somehow VG, for some reason, go for the open plant in the 2v3. That was not a situation they needed an open plant anyway. They have such a disadvantage, you may as well just plant default and try and play like Palace and backbox. But
the problem with trying to plant default is the fact that Zoking had already spotted Fugly moving past basically the murder hole by CPL, so they couldn't go for the open plant for CT spawn because, again, they had no smokes.
oh, yeah,
Smokes were gone, and every time they went towards that A bomb site, it was the same issue they ran into every single time. So I guess in hindsight, you can think, I guess you can say it's very easy to identify what went wrong in a lot of those scenarios. It's the fact that you don't utilize your utility well enough or hold on to your utility well enough to actually allow yourself to get bomb plants on the bomb site. But that's not going to make you feel any better as the standing is right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, though, Daps, after he finds a kill on short, killing Freeman in the connector, they still plant 4 Daps. It's like, you know, you're kind of, you're getting what you deserve in that situation, right? Because you're literally planting for the short player. But whatever. It's we saw some definite holes in VG's T side on that map, on that A site. Definitely some problems they need to fix. But a good showing nonetheless from them. However, NRG taking away their map pick. This is poised pretty well for the 2-0.
Yeah, given how NRG have looked on an overpass, again, haven't seen too much of Vici playing that map, in all honesty, especially not versus international level teams, then yeah, you do kind of lean towards energy after seeing this. But Vici, they definitely were within a shot here multiple times actually. With the way that this kind of panned out, I would have expected it to be a Vici victory, and we would have seen potentially a third map.
No, it definitely did seem that way, especially with that first half. It seemed like, at one point we had like an 8-4 scoreline or 7-4 scoreline. Like, they were in a good lead. After NRG took pistol, they had they took pistol, but they had a very good chance of actually having a decent half, and NRG clawed their way back up. But still, as you can see on the map's best players, we had players from both teams.
Yeah, well, a lot of contributions, but maybe not, I guess, your usual suspects. Daps being maybe the brightest star for a lot of these very clutch rounds as well. CT side Breezy did exceptionally well to bring or keep energy in it for a long, long time. An attacker, as you mentioned, constantly popping up on that A bomb site, finding opening frags. Just didn't allow for them to get a whole lot done in the end, though, sadly for Vici. But
AWP stats are interesting. 10 AWP kills for Cirque, which doesn't seem very high, and only 2 for Summer there. But of course, as you said it yourself, just a few rounds ago, we saw multiple players kind of pick up that AWP. Apart from Zoking, at one point, everyone had the AWP.
Yeah, so they're shifting through everything and seeing what
just
works.
learning.
But they've showcased that they don't necessarily need an AWP to be able to get rounds on the board. So I don't think you necessarily need to change up too much in that sense. The op stats are going to be a little bit skewed because Cirque is a dedicated opper. So that's just how that stacks up. But in the end, VG have to be kicking themselves for losing Mirage, but they will get another chance.
Yeah, overpass, that is it, and we will head to that in just a few minutes. Map number 2, NRG's